Today's session is about to answer the CV questions. So we are going to have the presentation. After the presentation, we'll open it the floor for Q&As so that at least we can answer the questions. Because CV is a very important tool. CV is a very important tool. When you get it right, it will always be easier for you to get a job. I'm being told that I'm not audible. If you can hear me, maybe you can use the thumbs up. Someone is telling me I'm not audible. You can use the chat session to let me know if you can hear me from your end. Okay, thank you. So as I don't know, I'm hearing myself in the background. What we are going to do today is how do you come up with a well-crafted CV, match it with the job application so that it can land you a job. So as you can see in those pictures, the CV, the job application, and the interview. But majorly we are going to focus on the CV. So what does it really look like during the job search process? The first step that you go through is you need to identify opportunities, and then you need to prepare your
CEO from 2013 to 2021, and now remain.
Yeah, the first thing you need to do is identify opportunities, then you need to prepare the CV and the personal statement. In the personal statement is all about the personal summary, and we are going to see how it's of importance to the CV and the job search process. So after that, after you've prepared your documents, the next thing you'll do is to submit. After the submission, you'll be notified if you qualify for the interview, and then finally you'll go through the interview. Your CV is your personal brand, and you should get your voice. You should find your voice. If you've seen the pictures maybe playing on my screen, we know Oprah Winfrey, and there are things that Oprah Winfrey is known for. We know Elon Musk, and we know that there are things that Elon Musk is known for. We know Obama, and we know Mother Teresa. So even as CVs, before you submit your job application, one thing you need to know that there are so many people that are submitting the same. And what will qualify you as the best candidate is if you find your voice and share. Let people identify you with a certain thing. Let people identify you with what you can bring to the table. And this you do with the resume. For instance, someone has asked you to share your CVs. They are the first thing that they need to see when they read your CV. So as like for instance, if I ask you to send me your CV, just by reading through the first page of your CV should give me a clue of who I am dealing with. And this is where most candidates get it wrong, and most job seekers get it wrong. We tend to believe that the quality of a good CV is the general outlook, but that is not the case. Having a CV is whereby you can tell a story through the writing you put on that piece of paper or on that Word document, whereby when I'm reading through it, at least you're trying to tell me who you are. By just checking the first page on your CV, I should be able to get that voice. Even as I scroll down maybe to check, even if I scroll down maybe to look into more details, at least I should have a clear view of who you are by reading the first page of your CV. And we are going to see how can you craft the first page so that when I look at your CV, I'll have an impression, and later on I can call you, or later on I can invite you via an email to come for the interview. So, job seeking process, the most valuable document is what we've been talking about, which is the curriculum vitae. So, CV clearly generates interest in you and the skills that you possess that will lead to an opportunity. So, allowing yourself, it allows you to sell yourself either to the job seeker or maybe to the employer or the recruiters. Just like the CV, there are things that you need to get a job, and that is maybe a record of education, record of work history, and most important document a job seeker can produce. But above all, the thing that will give the best impression of who you are, it is a well-crafted CV. So, what are some of the qualities that your CV should have? So your CV should it should be personal, like marketing tool to sell your skills to the future employer. Because remember, when you're crafting your CV, some of us tend to believe that they tend to show the teamwork spirit. And in the teamwork spirit, if you read through their CV, it's all about what we did, what the company did, what my team did. So it doesn't really clearly reflect on what you do. Remember, you're selling yourself and you're not selling the company. So the CV should be personal and it should be able to market you. Number two, it should be comprehensive. And by comprehensive, it should be able to present your full potential, whereby you have solid examples, to back it up. Then it should be concise. I'm kindly asking us to mute, please. If you join, kindly mute your mic. That is Bethuel, that is Ezekiel, so that at least we don't distract people with the background music. Thank you. So your CV should be concise. Ezekiel, join, kindly mute your mic. This should be, your CV should be concise. And when you talk about conciseness, what I'm talking about, Ezekiel, kindly mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic, please. Thank you. You should have a good balance of information. So maybe you need a few drafts so that at least you can find ways of expressing yourself through that document. And one thing you need to realize is that you cannot sell yourself all in that small document. So when given the opportunity, what you need to do is you need to clearly outline things that will make you the best candidate. Then a good CV must appeal to the reader, identify your unique selling points, and include them in your profile. So it's not just a matter of putting in the details. Put in the details in such a way that if I read through your CV, at least I can see some attractiveness in the document that you've shared. And through the process, you are going to go through step by step. What are some of the parts of the CV that you should focus on, and what parts of the CV does the recruiters or the employers maybe check when they are giving people opportunity, or if they're inviting people for an interview. So in the CV, there are important content that you should include. The first thing that should come out clearly is personal details. And when you talk about personal details, these are the essential things like your name, your contact, your email address, or optional if you have like the PO box, because sometimes I see some other people have the PO box. But clearly what should appear there is your name, your real name as they appear. Then number two, it should be your contact details and email contact. I've seen some CVs with very funny email addresses. Remember, you are talking to official people, and always create an email address that it is that maybe the recruiters, the employers, or the potential employers can reach you easily, and avoid nicknames on your CV. Then under that, you need to have a profile, whereby a profile you need to highlight the history, your work experience, your transferable skills, and your personal qualities. We're going to see that one as we proceed. And then we have the educational part, where education just reflects your level of education, dates, college, the title, and the qualification. And then we have, sorry, and then we have the work, we have the work history or the employment history. So employment history is just capturing the name, the function, and the task that you performed. And then additional information, for instance, if you have any certifications, if you have maybe any professional if you have any professional, maybe professional certifications, then volunteering, then we have the hobbies, and then we have the references, whereby the reference part is the part that contains maybe the referees. And then maybe some people show ownership by signing the CV so that it can show that the CV is up to date. There are so many formats of doing a CV, but where we get it wrong, because remember, nowadays we've been talking about the ATS system. What normally happens to an ATS CV? This is what we need to, this is what we need to clearly know. When we talk about ATS system, what are we talking about? ATS system, this is whereby your CV is subjected to a system to read through and qualify you as the best candidate or not. And when it comes to ATS, some of the things that maybe stand out is use of keywords. Number two is like your CV should be AI friendly or the system friendly, whereby the system can clearly maybe rough through your CV to pick the key highlights. And it should be formatted in a way that when it's being passed through the system does not bypass maybe sections of your CV due to complications. So you must ensure that you include the keywords in your CV. You must ensure that your format is clearly, so that at least when the system is maybe perusing through your CV, it can highlight. Because even with these systems, it is just maybe whereby some people are the people in charge of selection. They put in codes, they put in commands to the system. This is what exactly you should pick on these CVs. So when you talk about ATS is whereby your CV should be well formatted, your CV should have the keywords, and your CV should be modern. When we talk about modern CV, you are going to say, what exactly do we refer to as modern CV? There's no perfect, or there's no method or a format cast on stone that this is what your CV should look like. But ensure that when you're talking about modern CV, there are things that the flow is the same. I'm kindly asking if you join. If you join, kindly mute your mic. Francis, kindly mute your mic.
Yes, please.
Kindly mute your mic. Thank you. So it is not cast on stone that your CV should have a specific format, but always ensure that when you're doing your CV, it is in a format that is appealing, not complicated to the system, or not complicated to the people or the person who is not complicated to the person who is going to read through your CV. Some CVs have been written on with very small font types, whereby it becomes difficult for the recruiter, or it becomes difficult for the employer to sift through the CV or to read. Some of them are too much information on one page, whereby it becomes even boring for them to for the recruiters or the people in charge of selecting you maybe to read through. So what are the most or the important parts of a CV? The first one, we've talked about your personal information. And if you can see here, if you can see this one, or even this one, this is whereby your name appears and your contact details. So ensure that your name is clearly readable and your contact details is clearly seen, so that in case you've surpassed, or in case you've excelled in the maybe the shortlisting process, I can call you. So Thank you so much. Alice, I'll give time, maybe you can speak, we can ask questions. So maybe you can lower down your hands, I'll give you a chance. If it is maybe technical issue, please let me know in the comment section. So I want to use the picture that I've displayed on the wall. I want to use the picture that I've displayed on the wall, maybe just to show you the important parts of a CV. I'm not telling you to format your CV this way, but what I'm telling you is these are the important information that must appear on your CV. First of all, start with your name. After starting with your name, key in your contact details. I have seen so many CVs whereby somebody is talking about they are married, they are male, they are female. Some CVs talk about their citizenship, they are Kenyan, they are maybe Ugandans, they are Ethiopians, they are Americans. I've seen some CVs maybe geographical locations, so much details that is not relevant to the job that you're applying for. For what is important is your contact details, and in some instances, you can put in the professional profiles, like maybe the LinkedIn link, whereby if I want to check your LinkedIn, maybe to get to learn more about you, I can get it and reach you through that point. So the most important thing, am I able to email you? Am I able to maybe send you as in phone call or even Thank you. So am I able to send you a WhatsApp call or WhatsApp message or give you a phone? So when it comes to contact details, what you need to capture clearly is the details that are relevant to your job. Unless you've attended an interview and I want to know if you are married or not, I'll ask you during the interview questions. So too much details that will make it boring for your CV. Imagine a page if or in recent, maybe in the recent age, when you're going through a CV and the whole, almost half of the page is talking about your personal details, where you stay, your age, and all such kind of things. Only capture what is necessary. I've also seen so many CVs with pictures, and I would really advise, that in case you've been asked to, in case you've been asked to send your picture, please, in case you've been asked to send your picture or include your picture in the CV, that's when you're supposed to do it. Because some pictures maybe make people have a preformed opinion. And kindly, please, if you join, because there is noise in your background, kindly ensure that you're muting your mic so that at least you don't make others listen to what is going on in your background. So, sorry. Once you've captured your contact details, of which you've said the most important thing is the phone, the most important thing could be the phone, the second email, and maybe the LinkedIn profile. Or even if you're having a portfolio, you can include the portfolio link on your CV. Then once you're done with that, I want to know, the next thing I want to know is, who are you? Tell me about yourself. And when I talk about telling me about yourself, is you need to answer 3 things and on what we call the professional summary. And when I talk about professional summary, what I'm referring to, Alice, kindly mute your mic. Alice, kindly mute your mic. Sorry, these guys are confusing me. So we have the professional summary sections. In the professional summary sections, it should be able to answer 4 things. And in these 4 things is, who are you? Like, what is your area of specialization? For instance, accountancy, for instance, customer service, for instance, maybe medical practitioner, for instance, maybe administrator, project manager, and all that. Number 2, I want to know what your experience span. Talk about your experience span, 3 years, 10 years, 20 years on that particular industry that you're working, the particular title that best describes what you do. Once you've done that, then the next thing I need to know, what are some of the key core skills that you possess? For instance, you can be a project manager who has maybe who is keen on data analytics, data entry, operations, and all such kind of stuff. So your skills, your years of experience, and your title. And when I talk about title, I'm not telling you to put your title there. At least you'll have an experience. For instance, myself is experience, a career and marketing coach or specialist with over 7-10 years in that particular industry. I possess skills such as problem solving, analytics, and customer service, but I'm also good with I'm also good with services such as negotiation, sales, and such kind of stuff. So in your profile summary, once you've talked about your title, you've talked about your experience span, talk about your skill set, and then talk about what you bring to the table, like this skill set. In case you're given the opportunity to work maybe in this organization, how can we benefit how can we benefit from your experience? For instance, with my experience in A, B, C, D, I believe I can be instrumental to your organization because of A, B, and C. And then finally, you need to talk about your goals. Like, what are your aspirations? What do you really like? What are your aspirations? What makes you kind of wake up in the morning, go to work, and what are you looking up to? Remember, when you're writing this, and I had maybe one of us asking the questions, I've been having problems whereby I need to match my CV to the job application. This is the secret. Once you want to apply for a specific job, you'll realize that there are keywords used in that advert. For instance, if you go to the core skill section, as in the requirements, if you go to your job description, as in the JD of that particular advert and what the requirements needed, you need to pick the key points from the job description and then use the key points to rewrite your CV. I wish I was in a position maybe to share a job description and show you how you can do it. But any job that has been given, there are key skills that they are looking for in that specific job. So what you need to do is you need to pick those the keywords and use the keywords to write your profile. The advantage of picking the keywords from the job advert to your CV is when I'm reading through your CV, I'm having the perception this is the kind of candidate that I want to have. For instance, the job is looking for somebody who is experienced in the IT. For instance, somebody is looking for somebody with experience in IT, somebody who is tech savvy, somebody who has maybe experience maybe in the digital marketing, social media management, e-commerce, accountancy, and all such kind of stuff. Underline the key points. You can even come up with 5 keywords or even 10 keywords from the job advert and use it to rewrite, use the keywords to rewrite that section. So in the profile section, remember you've told us who you are, you've given us your contact details, and then you've gone ahead to tell us your experience, you've pinpointed some of the core strengths that you have, the skill sets that you possess, and then you've explained to us what else you're bringing to the table. So now the next time is we want to see in details the core skills or the core skills that you're talking about. How have you utilized these core skills? What are the skills that makes you a better candidate? So you remember in the profile summary, we just talked about them in summary. Now the second section should clearly highlight the section that you're seeing here. It can be either this, it can be either this one or this one here. Now you need to elaborate on the key skills that you possess. And when I talk about elaboration, I've seen some people just listing maybe advocacy, accountancy, customer service, maybe skill A, B, and C. Yes, you can be all skilled in that, but I want to say, how can you utilize the skills that you have to help my organization? How can you use the skill set that you have to solve a problem in my organization? Well, so when it comes to elaboration of the core skills that we are talking about here, you need to clearly elaborate. And it's not just a matter of listing the skills. Tell us how you are, like, for instance, if it is problem solving, it is project management, if it's customer service, if it is the leadership skills, how, like, give us more details, give us the how of this specific skills. So remember, I've had the summary of who you are, and then now dropping down to your CV, I get a chance now to read about your core skills, or what you call the professional strengths. Once I've read your professional strength, the next thing I need to know, what are some of your major achievements during your work span? What are some of these achievements that make you great? And remember, we talked about picking. Keywords from the job advert and then bringing it to our CV. So when you're talking about these, professional strength, try to match what they are looking for with what you already done to make yourself a better candidate. So in that case, you can use the keywords now from the JD section, and then bring the keywords to maybe your CV, so that when I'm reading, like for instance, they are looking for somebody who has 15 years experience, maybe in managing a big team. So for instance, in your previous job, you managed 30 teams concurrently. So we need to see this one reflect and flow through your CV, so that when you're talking about, now I'm reading through your professional strengths or the core achievements that you did, I'll be seeing the kind of candidate that I'm looking for to employ, the kind of candidate that I'm looking for to employ in my organization. So it's always very important. This is why sometimes I tell you that you might be having a good CV, but your CV is communicating too much information, which is not relevant to what the person is looking for. So for instance, you'll find that you're best qualified for the job, you have all the qualifications, but for the recruiter to get, or maybe the shortlister to get the details that will make them maybe shortlist you as the best candidate, they'll have to read through, maybe go down to the professional work experience, maybe just to get of who you are. Remember, if a good recruiter gets to your first page of your CV and reads through what we've talked about up there, that one already will give them a perception. And that is now where they'll say, I think we should pick this guy, we should pick this guy, we should pick this guy. Because on your first page of of your CV or of your resume, you've answered the questions that they are looking for. I know somebody will ask me that, I find it difficult to match my job description and my CV. Does it mean that every time I want to apply for a job, I need to be doing this? No, yes, and no. And in the yes part, you can identify. You can identify the kind of jobs you want to apply for. For instance, if you're looking for the operations jobs, you'll realize that the operations jobs or the management jobs, they have the same qualification. If you want to know this, just go to compare the job adverts. You'll see that whatever they are looking for in all these adverts. Are you guys able to hear me? Let me know in the okay, so thank you. So what was I talking about? So once I've read through your page, I've seen all those answers. I don't need now to go read through your professional experience to see if there's something that you're bringing to the table. So we are done with the strengths, you have done with the achievements, you're done with the skills. The next thing is your professional history or your work history. And when you talk about the work history here, what you're talking about is not, some of us, we tend to just copy paste it from the JD and then put them in the CV. Yes, I know these are some of the roles that you did, but you need to personalize these roles. And when I talk about personalizations of these roles, I need to know, like, for instance, if the duties and responsibilities that you are given. How did you come, like, how did you contribute to this? Don't just go there and start listing, managing daily. For instance, if you're doing the administration, managing daily, maybe daily register, maybe managing the team and all this. Give us details, give us into details how you performed in your roles. And this can be other key responsibilities or contributions and results. How did you contribute in that specific organization? So what happens is, once you do this, if anyone reads through your CV, they'll be like, you'll be answering their questions. And even before you are called for the interview, you'll already realize that you've created a perception on the person that is going to hire you. Once you're done with the work history, the next thing you need to do is your qualifications, that is academic qualifications. And in academic qualification, whereby you start from the current all the way to what makes it important. Because I still see people with over 10 years of experience, maybe listing their primary schools, the computer colleges they attended as part of the academic qualification. When it comes to academic qualifications, you need to reflect what makes it important. You need to reflect what adds value to your CV. After the academic qualification, you realize that, for instance, if you have 20 years and above, what happens is you might have too many jobs that you did in the past. Only list what is relevant, and others you can list. You can create a title. Maybe below experience, you can create a title below experience here. Maybe indicate other professional responsibilities or other professional responsibilities, and then you list what is not like the other responsibilities that you did. Why am I saying this? For instance, you're an accountant, and then maybe during your campus period, or maybe after your campus period, you went and taught for some time. If you realize teaching might not be relevant to the job that you're applying for, but still you can just list it down there as some of the work experience that you had, so that at least ensure you have the best four that describe what you did, and then others you can list down there, so that at least you don't make your CV too long with irrelevant details. Once that is done, the next section is professional certifications. And when you talk about professional certifications, these are other certifications that you may have. For instance, if you are a fresh graduate who have, or maybe a Form 4 leaver, or an entry level kind of maybe job seeker, you can have some things like computer, like the driving, you possess a driving license. If there are the webinars that you've attended that you think might be of importance to maybe your job, your CV, those are the things that you need to highlight. But if you're a professional that has been in the industry for some time, what you need to do is you need to reflect, for instance, if you are CPA holders, if you are I don't know how to pronounce it, the high HRM, like if you subscribe to these bodies, if you are CIM, like the marketing, if you are public relation, accountancy, medical sectors, if you belong to those bodies, kindly include, or if you have any certification that matches whatever whatever they are looking for, always see on how to include. Then after that, you can have maybe what your interests are, and then finally you have your referees. But allow me get back now onto this professional strength. I'll try to look into one of the CVs so that at least we peruse and see how can you include that in such a way that they flow. So maybe that is the first session. I'll open, maybe we get around three questions so that we can proceed. Alice, you wanted to say something? You wanted to ask a question? Or if any one of us has a question, they can ask. and then we will proceed from there. You can raise your hands.
Coach, my request was for you to show the slides on a presentation mode. They were not very legible, but
Okay.
thank you for the opportunity.
All right. Any questions? Yes, Maximilian.
Yes, thank you so much. Good evening to everyone. I'm Maximilian, talking from Mwanza, Tanzania. I would like to appreciate your session. It is so transformative, so nice, so powerful for us to win global opportunities. I have one question and one request. I was requesting, if possible, you can share the slides you are trying to share via our email or the WhatsApp platform. That is one. But number two, I wanted to raise about how we can write, for example, I've been seeing that we are asked to polish, for example, the work experience. You have mentioned that you have been hired as a teacher. So what is needed to be written in a CV, you need to write those assigned responsibilities in aligning to the opportunity advertised. So I wanted to request more clarification on how we can cement these experiences in aligning to the profession, to the profession and the advert on the given opportunity. I'm not sure if I've communicated well.
Yeah, thank you. Dorothy.
Hello.
Okay, if you're done, you can mute your mic. Yes, Dorothy.
Hi, hello, Aga Kelvin.
Good evening.
You can hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hi, thank you for this opportunity, and this is a very good opportunity for us to learn about CVs. I had one question. There's a point where you said we need to see these strengths reflect and flow within your. I would like you to expound more on that. How do we make them? Like, do we write like a paragraph? Because when we say with like you like 3 sentences instead of 1, is that okay? Won't that be much information? Too much information on the CV?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Vincent.
Yes, thank you, Coach. I'm now inquiring about, let's say I'm a fresh graduate from the university and I've applied to a certain company and they're asking me for the CV. Now, on the experience I can put in. Thank you.
Okay. Allow me answer your question. We are going to. Okay, we can have the two. We can have two, and then we proceed. We let us have Eric.
Thank you, Coach. Mine was what you just presented. And for example, now I'm using myself as an example. I've pursued microbiology, and on the side, I've also learned the other skills like graphic design. So, for example, when I'm applying for an opportunity that is maybe microbiology, how should my graphic design or digital marketing skill, which is not in line with microbiology, present in the CV? Thank you.
Okay. I think let me tackle the questions. Then I'll just peruse through a sample of a CV, and then we'll proceed. To start with the last question that I've been asked, and I've gotten this question a lot. Are you doing microbiology, but you're good in digital marketing? Remember, you can use your skills, for instance, in my digital marketing to help maybe either create the microbiological. Sorry about that, guys. I got kicked out of my own meeting. So as I was saying, your digital marketing skills or any other skills that you've learned on the sites, what you need to reflect is, for instance, if you're good with graphic designs, so you can maybe include this one whereby you can, when it comes to digital marketing or graphic design, reflect the digital marketing that you have to the graphic, and all the graphic designs to relate to your microbiology. For instance, you can create a document, you can create content, you can create maybe, how do I call it, the pamphlets, the newsletters that maybe can help the organization disseminate outside there. So on top of your microbiological skills, you've acquired some other skills on the side, and this is what you're bringing to the table. So the key thing that you need to understand is, how does your skill relate into, as it relates to the kind of maybe profession or the kind of career that you have. That instead of, hi Ruth, kindly mute your mic. Thank you. So instead of just highlighting digital marketing, I am a well-experienced microbiological digital marketer with experience, maybe.
You.
Hello. Hey. Nilikuwa jeta. Soda. Ifika soda.
Kalema, we are listening. I don't know if it's your call, but we are listening to your call. We've paused the session. Kindly mute your mic. Nefas, kindly mute your mic. Thank you. So the key step is to match the skills that you have on how they can help you in the microbiological center. Because remember, we are living in the digital age, whereby most organizations are disseminating maybe the information outside there. So if you possess the skills that can help the organization, that all can help you in your career to process. For instance, in the medical world, there's a lot of document creation, there's a lot of content publications and all such kind of stuff. If this case can help, other staff members or maybe your organization, that is how you need to reflect the same. You've just graduated from campus. You don't have the relevant skills to include in your CV. What are you supposed to include? Remember, when you're in campus, they are what we call the co-curriculum activities, things that you did. Maybe it can be group project, it can be attachment, it can be internship. Instead of just highlighting the internship or the attachment, go ahead and tell us, what did you do? Like, what are some of the things that you did in that? What are some of the things you did? What are some of the skills that you acquired, so that at least you make it more, you make your CV more reachable. One thing about, if, for instance, for the fresh graduate or for maybe the students who are here, one key thing that you need to invest more is the skill set. If you don't have the experience, the skill set that you bring to the table. The skill sets can be things you studied in campus, it can be projects you worked in campus, or co-curriculum activities you engaged in campus, or just or maybe things that you spent your time lunch and you're bringing to the table. So let the skill set stand out clearly. Let the skill set stand out clearly and portray who you are and what you are able to do. So maybe after some time now, you can bring the experience. But if you're a fresh graduate, measure most on your experience. Okay, that being said, allow me show you guys a sample of a CV. that I did for someone recently. Okay, allow me share the screen. Mhm. Okay, this is a CV I did for someone recently. So what I was talking about here is the professional summary. Under professional summary, we had something like highly skilled and dedicated professional with a diverse background in accounting. So you see, like what I was talking about is highly dedicated, highly skilled and dedicated professional with a background in. Now you can see like the skill set are here: accounting, administration, customer service, blah, blah, blah. Then the second paragraph, I possess strong communication skills that foster positive interaction, blah, blah, blah. Then if you go to the third paragraph is still explaining what we have in the first paragraph. Like my multifaceted expertise allows me to, like now what I was saying, that what are you bringing to the table? So if you look at what you are bringing to the table, you see at least, for instance, my multifaceted expertise allows me to efficiently manage blah, 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 blah. And finally, you talk about where you thrive. For instance, I thrive in environments where I can contribute to operational excellence and customer happiness. So in their profile summary, it must answer those things that we were talking about. Once we have, like on top here, this is where your personal details, the name and the phone contact that you are talking about should be able to appear here. Once, if you scroll down, it's under professional strength, for instance, this person has strengths in accounting. So instead of just listing accounting, administration, customer service, go ahead and explain to us. Like for instance, proficient in managing records, preparing financial statements, and doing that. If it is administration, I'm skilled in organizing and coordinating office operation, implementing administrative system, blah, blah. If it is customer service, also the same, so that you ensure that your professional strengths are clearly outlined, so that if I'm looking for somebody with all this, these are some of the keywords that were picked from the job advert to which this person was applying to. Now you come down to professional, like, sorry, there's one thing which is missing here. If this person had no achievements, so if you have, I'll try look for a CV that has achievement. So if you have the achievements down here, it will appear like what are some of the achievements, or what are some of the things that you're proud of during maybe your period of work. Once that is done, you need to have now the professional statement. And if we look at the professional statement, for instance, you can see I've not just listed what this person did. So key contributions were successfully reconciled bank statements, ensuring financial accuracy and compliance. So these are the key contributions and the results. So like the contribution was reconciling bank statement, and the results was ensuring accuracy and compliance. So if you look at this, like the way this one is presented, whatever you did and the results, whatever you did and the results. Once you list all your work experience, the internship that you did, and then now you come down here to the education, like the education. If you talk about education that you have, we have currently the person is doing that, and then she has bachelor's of that. And then down here, now you have the list of Faris. So this is just a sample of what I did. I think let me show you another one so that at least you can see the difference. Let me show you another, just give me a second. I show you another one. The format is not a must, it be the same. Okay, when you look at this one, you'll see what you are talking about. For instance, the person, in this format, this is how they wanted it to be. They wanted it to be reflected. So you'll see on top here, they've listed the key skills. We have the contact details. The name should appear somewhere up there. And then now when it comes to the professional summary, you reflect it that way. And then you see now here, the professional strength is trying to explain what is written on top here, like the leadership skills. We have the problem solving. We are like what we refer to as the soft skills. If you scroll down here now, you'll see now the most proud of, like what some of the things they are proud of. You reflect them there. And then now, for instance, I can just give an example. Operation efficiency enhancement initiated and implemented a comprehensive tracker for court judgments and introduced new turnaround time benchmark, resulting into significant reduction of paid auctioneers' fee from approximately 100 to 25 per annum. So most, like, you need to pick like five or even 6 things that you're proud of. And then you ensure that the professional experience is well outlined. You outline them that way, all the professional experiences that you have. Once you've listed them, and then you come to the education. On the education part, you have to clearly outline, and you need to look at like the presentability, the font type. If you have any professional certification, if you have any interest, like for instance, the person is interested in that, some people go ahead to include the languages because sometimes it is required. And then now you can have the list of referees. So those are just samples of the CV on how you can present. I don't know who that is. Kindly mute yourself. If you've not muted, please kindly mute yourself. So those are just some samples, but at least whatever we've talked about, you should ensure that it clearly reflects. You should ensure that it clearly reflects. Victor, kindly mute your mic, please. Thank you. So, what are some of the CV layout and presentation? For what you need to look into, you need to keep it simple and short. Use action words. When I talk about actions word, this is what, like the verbs. I use phrases and not sentences. Keep it clear and clean. Design your CV so that it can be easy on the eyes. You need to check spellings and typing, the typos. You need to keep your CV up to date, and then put now this one is not a must unless it is required, whereby put your name on every page. You need to make it easy for the interviewer to find you. Then you need to minimize personal data. So in the personal, if you attended, you'll realize I talked about things like where you stay, where like your marital status, if you're divorced, single, married, the pictures and all such kind of stuff. Just put relevant personal data that you have. Then write from present to past. So avoid gaps and then tell the truth, because you'll find that some of us lie so much in our CV that when we are called upon to defend whatever is on our CVs, we cannot be able to do so. So this is just what we've talked about, whereby a perfect formatting of a good CV, what it should look like. I made it tiny. I know it's not visible, but it's just what I've shown on the other slide so that at least you can see. So we have the do's and the don'ts of a CV. The don'ts is you don't need to make it fancy, e.g. Using your picture, like some of us, we said, if you're not us, some of us, maybe you'll find that some of us are using our pictures either to appeal or lure the interviewers, sorry, just give me a minute. I answer to something here, then we proceed. Yeah, so you don't need to make your CV fancy, but ensure that your CV communicates. That is number one. The second point is you don't need to cluster too much information on one page. But when I talk about clustering, what I'm talking about is trying to put too much details whereby the spacing is not correct, other stuffs are not correct. You should ensure that at least only put what is relevant, what is important. The next point is you need to make your resume content in balance, whereby you'll find that some other places you've done with font 11, other places you've done with font 12, other places you've done with different font types. So ensure that your CV is well balanced. You maintain the font type, you maintain the uniformity. And when it comes to uniformity, whereby you'll find that some other places you've highlighted with bullets, some other places you've highlighted with star. Ensure that there's consistency and there is a clear flow of your CV. Then fake information that never exists on your CV. For instance, if for educational purposes, whereby you've not registered, or maybe you don't have anything to prove that you are doing your master's, but on your CV you've included that you have your master's ongoing, or maybe the membership certifications. You don't need to copy from others. For instance, if somebody has 20 years experience, and if somebody has 20 years of experience and somebody has 11 years of experience, you don't need to match your CV with the person who has 20 years of experience. Avoid small spelling mistakes. So you need to check your CV through spelling mistakes. And the good thing is you can integrate apps like Grammarly, Quillbot to help you format your CV. Then don't write poor English, broken grammar. Ensure that at least you're flowing with your communication. Run on sentences, like your sentences should not be broken, whereby at least it should be well formatted. And then use the I language. The I language is what you are able to do. Then use too many different fonts. At most, you should use like at most two. But if possible, you can maintain one single font through your CVs. Using nicknames or weird combo in your email address. For like recently, one of us sent me an email, and it was, I think, ass.onyango, aws.onyango@gmail.com. There are some emails that at least when I get to read and even look at it, I'll say, for instance, you're not so serious with the kind of email. It might be funny to you, but it might cost you a job. Then putting too sensitive information on your socials. The do's, spend time constructing each item, especially your personal statement and achievement statement. When I talk about personal statement, this is your profile summary, because remember, when somebody asks you to tell them who you are, this should be your, what I call the elevator pitch. And when I talk about elevator pitch, this is what you, at least what makes you the best candidate for the job. You need to check for spelling and grammar. Then you need to devise a core version and adjust for each job application. Remember, we talked about picking keywords from the job advert and then matching it to your CV. Always keep your resume concise, precise. That is a maximum of 1 page to 2 pages. I know somebody asked me, what is the difference between a resume and a CV? A resume is a summary, a CV is a detailed explanation on the same. Then think of how you being in the role, and then the difference. So like, for instance, what are you bringing to the table? Make it clearly on your CV. Include your contact information, then include list of referees. And before you send this, always confirm for their availabilities, because for instance, you'll realize you list somebody as your referee, but when they call, they'll say that they don't know who you are, or for instance, due to one reason or the other, these people might end up bad mouthing or maybe talking ill behind your back. That being said, let me touch a little bit about cover letter. So why are cover letters important, and what is the difference between a cover letter and a CV? So a cover letter provides you the opportunity to highlight how specific skills match to the job requirements. Because now from the CV, we'll be talking about broad array of stuff. But when it comes to cover letter, now it will be, you pick the specific skills and then you present it to them, potential employer on the skill set and what makes you the best candidate for the job. Then we have a good cover letter should be like, it should have good appearance. You need to make it perfect, and you need to use a business corresponding format. Then write to a specific person. For instance, if you're not sure, sometimes you might go with phrases like the hiring manager, so that at least you ensure that you write to a specific person and not so many people. So when writing cover letter, you need to use a grabber first sentences, and a grabber first sentences are what you are talking about. Just pick key skills from the job advert. Use the key skills to write your grabber sentence, like for what makes you the best candidate. Then write to them why you are attracted to the position. Highlight experience, skills relevant to the job. Somebody has not muted. Alex, kindly mute. State your next step, then thank the person for the opportunity. So that is what I wanted. Where did you guys lose me? Oh, sorry, I'm finding we can't hear you. We can't hear you. Where did you lose me? Okay, you can unmute and speak so that I repeat.
It was for a moment, but it later got better.
Okay. Thank you Brian. At least nilikuwa nasikia mtu ameshiba na ameenda kusalimia watu. So that is about the CVs. But if you have to leave with something from this session today, this is what I want you to leave with. Your CV, the first page of your CV will be of great importance, and it is what will leave the impression. Ensure you got your personal statement or the profile summary clearly. Number two, ensure that you present your skills and explain how you've utilized the skills. If you have things that you are proud of or the achievement, ensure that they are clearly articulated and they match the specific job you're applying for. And then now in your when it comes to work history, don't just list the duties, list as in explain or expound on the contributions that you made. And always ensure that you pick keywords from the job advert, match them to the CV to make it a better and make you the best candidate for the job. Someone is asking me to share a sample of cover letter. Let me see if I have any with me here. Meanwhile, we can still utilize the chat session to ask questions. I think I've found one. Okay, let me share, stop. Okay, so this is a sample of a cover letter. I've played around with that section. And then this is how it should look like. I'm not going to read this, all that. When it comes to formatting, I'm writing to express my blah, blah, like you need to show your expression of interest. You need to list your years of experience. And then years of experience, like now when we are talking about specific skills you need to pick, for instance, which the skills that you hold that match to the job description, and then you can expound on the same, and then you thank them for giving you the opportunity for the same. Now, let me open the floor for questions. Let us have a Q&A. Okay, somebody is asking, I have included my GitHub account. Is there a reason to give more details about my skills? Yes, there are some people who are so cautious with clicking on links that they are not aware of. So sometimes make it as easy as possible for the recruiter so that you don't get them out of the page, so that at least they can find everything that they need. But in case this one, you need to add this, but still you need to highlight the same. Do we have best practice? I'm opening floor to the question and answers. So if any one of us has a question, you can raise your hands as we still go through these ones on the chat session. Do you have the best practice? Do you have the best practice when it comes to presenting your training and certification? Not really, as long as it is presentable. Yes, nowadays, even the recruiters have known that most people are using ChatGPT, so you need to make it smart. Don't just use it and then copy paste everything as they are, and ensure you do some fine tuning and add the human aspect to it. Philip, you can unmute and speak. Philip.
Thank you, Coach Kevin. Good evening, the team. Thank you for your presentation. I wanted you to highlight more about the ATS system. So what determines the CV to pass through the ATS system? Is it basically the CV which matches the job description? Or there is another criteria, or those are the only two factors which determine the CV to go through the ATS system. But because I have experienced this, sometimes you find there is a job advert, they ask for a qualification which you have, and then the number of years experience, maybe it is just mid-career, only like maybe 3 to 5, and you also have, there is no shortcut, no what, but unfortunately, you don't find yourself on the shortlist. So, and you ask yourself why. Yet you find what they asked for, or it is the way how the CV is fine-tuned. It gives the impression to the reader, or something else which we don't know about. So basically, that's what I wanted to, have more light on. Thank you.
Maybe just to answer your question, one thing you need to know that the job market is competitive, and the job market is so competitive, and sorry, and sometimes you might have all the relevant, you might have all the relevant experience needed. You might have all the relevant experience needed, but you'll realize that there's some other people who are more competitive than you. So it's not only a good CV that will land you the job, but sometimes you find that so many overqualified people apply for the job. When we talk about ATS system, I said, when we talk about the ATS system, when you talk about ATS system, there are a lot of things that qualify your CV as ATS. But the most important thing you should look into is the keywords and also the format of the CV. Try as much as possible to answer the questions on the job advert on your CV. And once you use the keywords, the way they're talking, like the tone, the grammar and everything from the job advert to your CV, you'll find it very like it. In most cases, if you're qualified, the system will automatically pick you. But another thing that you need to realize that, let's take an example, a job is advertised outside there. You realize that out of maybe one position, there are 5,000 applicants. So what happens? These people might command the first 1,000 CVs or the first 500 CV. The first 1,000 or the first 500 CV. So if you had a good CV, but sometimes your CV even doesn't got to meet the eye of recruiters or the ATS system. So there are a lot of factors. We are living in a very competitive job market. We are living in a very competitive job market, and it might not be only your CV. So ATS is about the format, the keyword, that majorly the keywords, and trying to at least match. If you've succeeded in matching the CV and the cover letter, you realize that you'll increase your chances of getting noticed. Tamanda?
Thank you so much. So I just have one question. Like I've heard some people before, like talking about like the word requirement. So, for example, some people say that if you write less than 400 words on the CV, like it doesn't pass through the ATS. Is it true, or maybe there's no actual word requirement for when writing a CV or a resume?
There is what I can say is there are some job adverts which are specific, and when they are specific, you'll realize that they'll ask you for a resume, they might ask you for a CV. There's things that you need to identify between the two. For instance, a resume should be short, but there's no way you can compress. For instance, if you have a wide range of experience, there's no way you can compress the above to fit maybe 400 or 300 or whatever 100. So word count, not majorly, but in cases whereby they've specified, you should ensure that you are there to them. Any other question before I answer some other questions on the CV, as in on the chat section? Okay, Rhoda is asking, Betty, you want to say something?
Yes.
Betty, yes, you want to say something? I can see you've unmuted your mic.
Yeah, I just want to know, for example, now you are saying that when you are writing your CV, it should match the job description. Now, for example, maybe the job is about the HR, and then maybe in future you would like to apply for a job which is not about the human resource management. Will you keep on changing the CV all through, or there's a way you can put it and it can be covering all the areas?
Remember, what will make you the best candidate is you need to be at least an expert in one area. So you can't be a jack of all trades and expect to be identified. Yes, sometimes it's tiresome, but it will always help you. It will always help you when applying for these jobs. Remember, I said you might be good with HR and you might also be good with customer service. In such a case, you should have like 3 sets of CVs that highlight like the core strength, so that when you're applying to the HR job, use the HR CV. If you're applying for the customer service, use the customer service CV, or keep on changing the two. And when I talk about customer service, you'll find that you might be having like your strong strength is in customer service, but still you have skills in human resource. So if you can't be changing every now and then, identify your core skills and build your CVs, your CV based on the skills. Build your CV based on the skills that you possess. I don't know if I've answered your question. I don't know if I've answered your questions. To answer Rhoda, there are several AI systems that you can use to get your CV. Unfortunately, I don't have the list now, but immediately after this session, I'll post it on the WhatsApp group. But still, you can use LinkedIn. Under LinkedIn, there's you can sign into the account, and then you navigate to the profile section. Under the profile section, you'll get a place that maybe tells you to upload the CV. Once you uploaded the CV, you can save changes. Sorry, I'm giving the wrong information. Allow me share this on the WhatsApp group to ensure that I give you the clear. I know of several systems whereby you can put in your CV and then now gauge your CV. So allow me share that one on the WhatsApp group, please. Any other question? Yes. Sorry, after listing technical skills, what follows? Is it educational background or work experience? It depends, but majorly I advance the work experience so that at least you continue the flow that you had there, and then now your education can come in to back up your work experience up there. It's important because remember, you've talked about your professional strengths, you've talked about your skills, the skills you possess, and now under the work experience, now you'll be expounding on things that you said up there. But still, that is not cast on stone. You can start with the one that you have. I'm trying to look into. Any other question?
Asikia vile huyu jamaa anasema.
Huyu jamaa anasema aje? Please kindly mute your mic. Kindly mute your mic unless you're asking a question. Is there a question that I've not covered? So I'll give this chance maybe to give us our feedback. After our feedback, maybe then we can see. But I hope you've learned something. We offer this revamp services in case you'd like to reach out, maybe reach out to us and we can agree on how to go about it. Yes, yes, Brian.
Yeah, I made an inquiry in the chat, but maybe you didn't see it.
Yes.
But I was asking whether the cover letter is part of the CV format, or it's like an application letter, if I may call it that.
It's more of application letter.
Okay, and then another thing.
Yes.
Do I need to worry if I have my profile picture on my CV?
Unless it is unless it is asked for, I would highly recommend that you don't include it.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Or let me share the link to the WhatsApp group. How do I have it? Just give me a second. I share the link to the WhatsApp group. Any other question as I share the link? Can we give our feedbacks? How was the session? Did you learn something? A volunteer? Who wants to volunteer to go first as I share the link?
Francis.
Yes, Francis.
It was quite interactive and educative. Eh? Thank you very much. I've learned a lot, which I'm going to apply.
Okay, thank you, Francis. A lady?
Hello, it's Dorothy.
Yes, Dorothy.
Actually, I want to say thank you for the session. Before I stamped upon your link on the links to this session on LinkedIn. I was actually stuck on writing a resume for a job application that I was supposed to apply to. So after this, I'm very confident I'm going to write it well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any other person? I've shared the link to the group. Any other person?
Hi, Kevin. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay. Okay, the session was very educative and I am grateful. And maybe are you going to share the recordings to the group?
Yes, I'll share a link of where I'll upload the recordings.
All right.
And
Thank you so much.
if it's your first time here, I'll share a link where you can access all the sessions that we've had.
Oh yeah, it is my first time today.
Okay.
And I've enjoyed the session. Yes.
Thank you so much. The WhatsApp link, I've posted the link on below there. The last person. All right. Allow me take this opportunity. Oh, yes, Brian, you want to say something?
Yeah, I also want to thank you, Kevin, for this session. Thank you for sharing. They always say sharing is caring. Sharing this information at a free cost is also humbling, and if there's something we need to emulate, we should emulate that first. That when you have information, let's share it with others. I personally have learned a lot. I was stuck also with the CV, how to write a good CV. The one I had wasn't good, but I'm going to sit down and make a good one. Thank you so much, Kevin.
Thank you so much. I just have a request. I'll share a link in the group. If you found this session informative, kindly write me a review on the profile, on my Google profile. So we'll be having so many of these sessions so that at least we change the numbers of job seekers and also help so many people get jobs. All right. Thank you so much, guys. And I'm looking forward to having you in the next session, unless there's something that I've not covered. All right, guys, see you.
See you, brother. Thank you so much.
Who is praying for us before we leave? Who is praying for us?
Can I pray?
Please do.
Okay, let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you this wonderful evening. Thank you for giving us a person to help us with our job application process, Father Almighty God. We know many of us have struggled with writing CVs and finding the right information to include in our CVs, but Father, you sent the right person at the right time to help us in our job application process. Father, as now we're going to continue with our job application process, we pray that may you keep guiding us so that we acquire those jobs, Father Mighty God. May we stand out against other candidates, Lord Father Mighty God. And we also pray for the person who was helping us, Father Mighty God, that may you help him so that he finds more clients, Father Mighty God. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior, we pray and say, Amen.
Amen. Thank you, guys, and do have a good night.
Likewise.
Who is inviting me for supper today? I'm feeling hungry.
Do you take comment?
We can fly to Uganda.
Yes, I take comment. Okay, we can leave. Bye-bye, guys. Yes, I take comment. You can invite me in the back seat. I'll come.
Okay.
Thank you, guys, and do have a lovely night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.